Now here we have some more wrenching today, and this is what I'm working on. This is a Hobao Hyper 7, which has been converted to electric as far as I've been told. Definitely that this plate would have been longer and had on the second servo, so it's been chopped down. The only thing is the suspension looks more like it's an earlier one, but it looks more like the electric version, strangely enough. So one of the jobs I've got to do is on the front. You can see there's a pin, there's a new one, and there's an old one on the other side. Is they keep travelling out. That's partly down to there should be something over it to hold it in place, so I've got to see if I can make up a plate or something to do that. And then on the parts, possibly fit a box for the receiver, but we'll see because there's not a lot of room left. We've got a complete new centre section, but it's mainly metal already, so what I was thinking was just replacing the front part, so it's stronger. He wants it stronger, so that's not too much work. Then we got some new bling for the rear that he got. They go between the sort of rear wing, a cooling fan for the motor, and some braces. So let's give this a quick clean off and get started. Now here we go. I've took the rear end completely off. That way it was easy to grease from underneath and check the gears. They seem to be in good condition, so no qualms there. So I took the rear wing off, so it's nice and easy to work with. And here it is. And the parts we're replacing are these in the middle. So I'm going to rip those apart and have it and see how they go on. I won't have to use thread lock because we're going plastic, but it'll be the nice alloy parts in the middle. Well, we've encountered our first problem. The first two go through two lots, but this screw seems too long. I'm going to have a look to see if the screws are incorrect on the other side, which I can't see it being. But like I said, I'm going to have to find shorter screws because that won't tighten up. So first little faux. There we go, the bits of bling are in. Not too bad at all. Like I said, I had to change to stainless for those lower two screws. Just went I think 2 or 3 mil down, and they fit perfectly. Let's get this all back together and into the car, and then we'll start on the middle. Well, this is the other part I'm fitting to the back, which is the first of the brace. This is a alloy version. They look to be very accurate to size, so I'm not expecting any aggro to fit it. So now we'll get the rear end all back together. No, not bad at all. The brace is in. That went in pretty good. It's best to get the bolt through at the back first, just push through, and then flex the rear until it pops into the location hole and put the screw from below, which I've used a very small amount of Loctite. Now I'm going to rip the middle apart and have a look at this. Well, I wasn't happy with the kit, so I've rebuilt the original one, and I noticed this part here was shorter than this one, and I measured it and it was 3mm off. And then I noticed if you bolted this to the top, it was off. So I made a 1mm spacer that fits underneath, and now the gear fits completely square. And so I shrunk down the lower one to 2mm, and that'll bolt on there, and then it should be completely square. So after all that work, it'll be back together, just as standard, because I think it's just the motor bolts on way better. All back together, like I said, 2mm spacer at the bottom, 1mm in between here, with this sitting nice. Sounds a lot better. I don't know whether the gears are different, because I tried a mod 1 in it and it sounded awful with that cog. Because they're supposed to have mod 1 gears, and that is definitely, yeah, well, they're bigger than mod, well, unless that's not a mod 1. I think I haven't got a mod 1 gear. That's why I couldn't get it to mesh. So there's no way I could fit this one in the case, because like I said, the drive cups, they look the same but they are smaller, so they cannot take the dog bones. Like I said, you can use the original diff, but with that one you can't fit a large pinion. And then, like I said, these bolts were correct length for this mount, and they secure really well. So I'm happy with it, the centre drivetrain, leaving it like that. Because he said it's a weak point, but well, his friend said, but I can't see how, because you're into alloy at the back. You've got alloy posts through all the way through that piece there. I know I've put some plastic spacers, but I can't see where it can't be any better. But this bling kit, as much as I've worked on it, don't work. Well, the next thing I'm going to work on is this plate. It's all uneven, and I'll sand it into shape, just a simple little job, and fit the front brace. If that fits as well as the back, that'd be quite good. So that's the next bit. Now this part is only a cosmetic clean-up. As you can see, it's not nicely cut, so I'm just going to sand it straighter and curve the corners off, because they're a little bit sharp and I don't like sharp. And that screw does nothing, so we'll lose that as well. There we go, that plate nicely tidied up, no sharp corners, squarer looking. Fitted the front brace. That was a bit fiddly, I had to take this section off, and then it pulled all itself into place. Next, let's look at this front plate here to stop these pins moving. That is a pain. There's the part I designed for holding the pins in. It's 4mm at the end and 2 on the middle bar, which it screws to, so that should hopefully be meaty enough to stop them coming out. There's no reason why they should, because all it's doing is stopping them going back and forth, so it's not an excessive amount of strain. When it prints, you get a little foot sometimes, and I just had to file this inner edge here very slightly. And like I said, this is the first time fitting, because like I said, I measure as close as I can with the calipers to get the holes right, and design this to go together. And that's one screw in. That's a good start. And there's the second one. So this part fits like perfection. I angled it off a bit using chamfer. It's not totally accurate because I was guessing by look, but I think it looks nice. But it should, like I said, serve the purpose. Just hold them in place. They do slightly stick out, but I'm not worried about that. It'll just push a bit on them. But I think that's quite a good design part for the job. And like I said, let's do these washers and then we can put them on. There we go. These are the little washers I made, and they are little, but they just space it nicely. fitted one on the inside, and it just stops them rattling. That's all they're there for. And it's easier to make them than cut the screws down. There we go. They just move a little bit, but that will do. So next we got is the fan, and it's a Surpass twin. That should just pop straight on, hopefully. Famous last words. We'll have to go outside because of other bits, so we'll see if this works. Actually, I can plug it in short. Battery pack, that's all we need for a test. Well, they scream. So, good job done. So we're almost there, just a bit of tidying up, but I can't find anywhere to fit that at all. So we've done everything else, and I'll just see if I can find an aerial holder, would be useful. So there we go. The fans, I've got them on the side, I've got the wires above, I've put the receiver behind the motor instead of there, and so I could run the aerial out under the wing and just cable tie it in two places. So the aerial's clear of everything, should get good signal like that. But that completes sort of fitting these aftermarket parts to the Hobao. I have to admit, the braces, the cheap ones, fine. The centre gear diff and all that, totally wrong for the car. I tried and I could not get it right, but I've improved how it was mounted originally. I've tidied up the, like I said, the servo tray, fitted the fans, fitted the shock protectors, made the brace to keep the pins in, and I think that's about it. It's all ready to go. So it makes a change doing these little projects for somebody, but these AliExpress parts, oh, they're awful, a lot of them.